Here on the table in front of us an urn, and the urn would be one that would carry ashes. They always say, you know, this is just death and taxes. This is Dominic Mazzone. Everybody who's been through the funeral process knows it can be costly, it can be time consuming, and what happens is people find themselves at odds with everything going on when they've lost somebody, a loved one. Now Dominic has found a niche and created a new market for the dying business, all online. Dominic is founder of Basic Funerals. He joins us now in this edition of Entrepreneur Next Door. You actually were mowing lawns in La Jolla not long ago.
That's very true, yes. I went to La Jolla High and I started mowing lawns when I was 12 and started my first business when I was 16, which was a little detail business. And by the time I was 17, I was promoting American bands during the 80s in Tijuana to come down and play.
You're one of those guys that just is going to find, you're a grinder is what they call it. In New York, yes. They call him a grinder in the street. He's always got 5 things going on. Now this basically, let me see if I can put this in the thumbnail. Sure. This is, you lose a loved one, you dial an 800 number, and your company begins taking care of everything for that family while they're grieving.
Yeah, so basicfunerals.com is the first internet funeral company. We're a licensed funeral provider, but we provide everything from the most basic cremation to the most elegant funeral service. But what we've done is 2 big things. One is we've let families arrange the way they want. Through our website, basicfunerals.com, they can arrange online, over the phone, or in person. And if they want to arrange in person, we'll even send a funeral director to their home, so they're not troubled. The other thing is, nobody wants to go to a funeral home. It's not usually a nice place to be. So instead of having this big fancy 5,000 square foot funeral home, we said, why don't we use these beautiful existing locations around San Diego, you know, like Balboa Park, you know, women's clubs, yacht clubs, golf clubs, local church, anywhere a family wants. And it gives them a lot of choices, and because of the low overhead, because we don't own it, we provide the services often at about half the cost of a traditional funeral home.
Well, that's the next question, is about costs. I mean, let's compare the cost of somebody, first of all, having to scramble around and find a funeral director and then have them take over, versus what you're talking about, which is you people take care of everything. What's the difference in cost?
Well, we take care of everything from front to back, so I'll give you an idea. For a cremation in the city could cost anywhere from, say, $1,200 all the way up to $2,000. Our price is $795 for a complete basic cremation, front to back. Nothing else to worry about. Single phone call, we take care of everything.
What do you get, a shoebox, or you get an urn, or what? What do you get?
Well, you know, it comes in a temporary container, but of course the family can opt for a more decorative urn, and our prices for a decorative urn are of course very reasonable. We try to give everything to the family at a cost. We don't want to run a big margin business. We like to help as many families as possible.
Now, you can give advice to other people. There are people sitting at home who say, that's a great idea. There are people who've had their own great ideas. What's your advice to people who want to become an entrepreneur, who want to break out of the mold, not report to a boss anymore, and really start their own company because they think they have a great idea? What's the advice?
Well, you know what? First of all, that's a kindred spirit of mine, because that's exactly how I felt. You know, some big things to think about. If you have an idea, is it an idea that people need? If they need it, you're at a great start. If they don't need it, do they want it? Are people going to want this? And if they do, that's great. What you need to do is you need to go ahead and get a solid idea, and you need to just go for it. That's what happens. And you know, a lot of people don't do businesses, they don't start businesses because fear manifests itself in so many different ways. And usually it's the fear of survival. How am I going to take care of myself or a family and children? And you're going to have to multitask. You know, at one time, I had a full-time job and 3 full-time businesses. And I went hard on all 3 of those. And even at my full-time job, I was just receiving accolades while I was getting my businesses started. And that's what you got to do.
But you're not paying rent on palatial offices, are you? How many employees do you have?
We have over 20 employees in the company. We don't go ahead and get beautiful downtown office. I mean, we get what we need to serve the families the best we can. I'll tell you something, you know, our name is Basic Funerals, but from a customer service standpoint, it's second to none. It's an amazing experience that we provide for families.
Listen to you sell it. That's really, really good. So you started this business. Where do you want to see it go? You got 20 employees now. What would you like to see basicfunerals.com become?
Well, I started this business with Eric Vandermeer, and when we started it, we said, we want to be everywhere. We want to be across the country. We want to serve as many families as possible to try to go ahead and help families save as much money as possible in all the states. Right now we're in Illinois, Colorado, California, and also up in Ontario, Canada.
Soon the world. Dominic Mazzone, thank you very much. It's a great idea, and you have lessons for all of us about that. Thanks for being with us. Good luck with it.
Thank
Good
you
to
so
meet
much for having me.
I'm inspired.